It is that time of year again. It is the Premier League season. And with that comes a yearly prediction of who I think is going to finish in which place, who I think just is going to win the league, who's going to get relegated. Let's get started. This is just so exciting. Finally, 20th place, Ipswich Town. I just do not see them surviving. Honestly, they did good in the championship last season, but I just don't think their squad is experienced enough at this level. I don't think it's good enough, honestly. And their signings have not been great. I mean, they're not good for this level. I think they're gonna be similar to what Burnley were last season. They both teams did great in the championship, had promising seasons, also had promising transfers, had some good young players, a few experienced players, and both teams had good young aspiring managers who will probably go on to be very good in the future. But guess what? Burnley got relegated, and I think that's what's going to happen to Ipswich too. I just don't think their style of play is going to work in the Prem. We've seen it before, like I said, with Burnley. It doesn't work for a newly promoted side. Their players are not good enough. That is why I'm predicting them to finish dead last. I just don't think they'll show a lot of quality during the season. We'll get a few famous wins. I think they'll beat Chelsea at least once this season. I'm predicting that. But I just don't think they're going to win. They're not going to go. They're not going to be able to survive. That's all I'm trying to say. 20th place, it's a bit harsh, but you know what? I cannot see them 2 years in a row getting promoted and then staying in this division. I just do not see it. Let's head on to number 19, Southampton. Now, in the championship, obviously, Southampton did do worse than Ipswich, but I think they're just a little bit more prepared for the Prem. They are better, and that is why I picked them for 19th. Honestly, defensively, they were not great, which is a bit concerning. That's not great for them. I think this team will be a lot similar to what Luton Town were. They showed some quality and in the end just got relegated. We're not good enough, and I think that's what's going to happen to Southampton too. They've been making some good signings. I mean, I think Shikawara, their right back, is great. They've made a few great bargains, just bargain players who they bought. Honestly, I'm one of the best transfer windows so far. Honestly, they've actually had some decent players coming through the door. Is it enough to survive? I don't think so. I still think quality wise, they are the worst or second worst in the division. But I think they should still put up a fight. Still, yeah, they won't really stand a chance. I think they'll finish 19th, but it's not as bad as Ipswich. 18th place, I'm predicting Leicester City. Now, this does feel a little bit harsh. They were an established Premier League side, and I would love to see them back and to stay in the Prem, hopefully for the next few seasons. But honestly, I just don't see it. They've lost their coach, Steve Cooper, now in. He's not great. He's pretty bad, and I don't think he's going to keep him up. 18th place, Steve Cooper sacked by December. He's just going to drive this club down, and I just don't see them surviving. They'll spend Christmas bottom and then make a little bit of a resurgence, maybe get out of the relegation zone, but ultimately they will finish 18th, relegated. That's my prediction. 17th place, I'm predicting Brentford. Again, this seems a little bit harsh, and yeah, last season, without Ivan Sony, they actually did pretty good. 16th place, survived. But this season, even with them, I just don't think they're going to be as great. They ended off last season pretty poor. Ivan Sony was not showing it, and I don't think he's going to show it either this season. I just don't see them doing that well. It's also they're just the other teams above them. There's so many teams in between like 16th and 10th that I just didn't know where to place them. I just could have shuffled those around, and I would have been satisfied either way. Just there's so many different ways I could have gone, but I've gone Brentford to finish 17th and be the worst of a bunch. 16th, Everton. Now, last season they actually did pretty well. They, despite having a points deduction, did pretty good. And I think without the points deduction, they would have been, I think, 12th or 11th. I don't remember. But this season, they're financially not great, and they've not made many great signings. I'm kind of disappointed with their transfer business. Obviously, they are a bit not great financially right now because of the stadium, but I just this season I don't think they can replicate it. I think it'll be a pretty stagnant season. I'm not really impressed by their squad. Onana leaving them is also going to be a pretty big loss. So I think 60th place, and that is going to be pretty generous. They're not going to go down. I don't think they'll be in any real danger once again, but just 16th place, nothing too special about it. 15th, I have Nottingham Forest. I think I originally had them in the relegation zone, but they've made a few pretty decent signings, and they could be deceiving me again because last season, same deal happened. They signed a bunch of players, but just didn't do that great. I think they finished 17th, just about the relegation zone, I'm pretty sure. But this season, it'll be a bit of an improvement. But again, nothing too special, nothing too exciting. They won't have like a top 10 finish, no chance. So 15th place, pretty average season, and honestly, they should be pretty happy with this. 14th, Wolves. Now, this is just pretty much where Wolves finished every single season. It doesn't matter who they signed the last couple of seasons. It's been really predictable. They've not had a great transfer business so far, a transfer window. They've not signed many great players. I think they signed one guy from Portugal once again, but no one great. They've not really sold anyone either. So again, pretty stagnant, pretty boring season standard. 14th, yeah, pretty boring. 13th, Fulham. Now, I think they will have quite a bit of a blow from João Palhinha leaving. But again, just I could have shuffled these teams around so much. There's just so much stuff I could have done. I think before the window closes, they will maybe make a few decent signings. We'll have to wait and see. But they're not really signing one yet. So again, pretty standard normal season. Nothing too exciting. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just mid-table 13th. Bournemouth 12th. Now, I'm aware that I'm just really copying the table from last season. And believe me, I was so tempted. I really wanted to put him higher because I think they'll have a great season. But there's no room. Honestly, this season, I don't know it's been harder than previous seasons to predict it because there's so many teams I want to place higher, so many teams that just could have made a top 10 push, but there's just no space. So many promising teams. I think once the season starts, it'll be more. I'll actually be able to see who will get the top 10 finish. But before we've actually seen any games, it's pretty hard to predict who will really make a push for that top 10. But Bournemouth, if they make the top 10, I'm predicting it right now. They actually like very much could do that. I think they'll have a great season, but I was kind of screwed over with no room. So many teams which are looking promising. 11th, Brighton. Again, I'm just really copying the table from last season. And this is another team I really wanted to place higher because I think without Europe this season they'll be much better. But I again just could not place them any higher because I just could not place anyone any lower. So 11th place, it's harsh. I wanted to put them higher, but just could not. There's just too many teams I see doing better. So 11th, pretty good season. It's just like Bournemouth. I think they'll do better, but I just could not place them any higher. 10th, West Ham. And yeah, it's not Crystal Palace like last season. It's actually a new team. And West Ham, they don't think they'll have as great of a season this year. I mean, it's a good team, and I think it'll be a pretty standard season for them. But they've not signed anyone great. They could lose a few players before the window ends. And I think 10th place is, yeah, pretty decent for them. It's again a bit of a drop off from last year's, but still I think they'll do decent. Nothing too out of the ordinary, and yeah, 10th place. 9th, Crystal Palace. Now this is a very big gamble. I could be terribly wrong about this. Last season I put it 10th, and I thought that was high. It is even higher this time, but look, I think there's got a good coach, got a few good players. I'm aware they lost Elise, which is going to be a big loss, but they signed Kamada, and it's a great team and a great coach. And the end of the season last off really great. They had a few really great wins, and I think they'll continue that. The thing I'm most worried about is the fact that Crystal Palace are the most consistent team in the Premier League right now. For the last 10 seasons since 2013, the season they were promoted to the Prem, they finished with a points tally in the 40s every single time. And you can check this up. Every single season they've been in the Prem since 2013, they've finished in a points tally which was in the 40s every single time. Even last season, 10th place, 49 points. I think this season they will break it. I think match day 37 against the Wolves, they will get a win and finally break the streak of, 10 seasons in a row they finished with a point tally in the 40s. I mean, it's a big gamble for me because how can you bet against them when they finished within a 10-point margin 10 seasons in a row? But I think they'll break it this season. 51 points. I'm predicting it right now. They'll get a win against the Wolves and finally break the streak. 8th, Newcastle. Now, I'm a bit worried about this one again. There's so many good teams which I just couldn't put any lower, and Newcastle kind of screwed because of that. But I just don't think they'll have a great season. There's talks about Eddie Howe taking the England job, which don't know if that's gonna happen. That might have already happened or not happened by the when this video comes out, but I still think they'll stagnate. The other teams around them have been growing for the past year, and Newcastle not really doing any of that. Lots of injuries, and just a lot of players not really progressing. So I think that'll continue this season. They'll just really, stagnate 8th place, and just a few points off the top 4, but still 8th place, pretty stagnant. Poor season for them. Whether that's going to be with Eddie Howe or without, we'll see, but 8th place is where I'm putting them. 7th, Chelsea. Now, I'm going to be honest, this was a last-minute change. Before this, I have a Google Docs of like my predictions, which I was going to list out. I put them 5th, but with a few last-minute changes, I've dropped them down 2 places to 7th, and that could be a very good change or very bad change. Now, I don't know which one of those it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a pretty bad season for them. I don't agree with Simon. I don't know why they're getting a new coach. Don't understand it. And for sure, Maresca is a good coach, but I don't know why they got rid of Pochettino. If they had kept him, I would have put him 5th, but without him, I'm just not really sure how they're going to do. Preseason, they have not been great. And it's preseason, but still, 4-1 loss to Celtic, 2-2 to Wrexham. I don't know. It's only preseason, but I still don't really see them doing much better now with that sacking. I just think at some points, just sacking and bringing in so many managers, it's not going to be great for the players. And I just don't know if the system's going to work. They don't really have a good striker. Palmer, we'll see if Maresca's system will actually include him and make it as good as he can be. So we'll definitely see that, but I've put a 7th. They could do much better, so I'm a bit worried about this one. 6th, Tottenham. This is the team that moved up 1 spot, and I think it'll be a pretty standard season for them. I think Postecoglou will have a decent time, not too much pressure. I think they'll drop down 1 place from last season, but it'll be a decent season. Nothing too strange. I think Heung-min Son will do great this season once more, but yeah, it's pretty standard. They just won some competition in Japan, so at least it's a better preseason than Chelsea, so that's kind of my excuse for putting them higher than Chelsea. But yeah, 6th place, pretty good season. 5th place, I've put Aston Villa, and I also didn't want to put them this high. I thought surely that was just 1 season. They would not do that good again. And with Gear Up, with Champions League, it was going to be just whole different beast for them. They're just not going to do great at all, but their transfers have made me change my mind. I could be totally wrong about this, and I could live to regret moving up a spot. But I mean, Amadou Onana, Maatsen, they made some great signings, and I think they'll really help them. Unai Emery, a great manager. I don't think they'll really challenge for Europe. I don't, with Europe, Champions League especially. I, I was so tempted to put them lower. It's because it's just on Champions League. Well, we saw what happened to Newcastle last season. It dropped now a bunch, but I think Aston Villa is one thing that's going to do it right. They will keep their form in both competitions, and yeah, fifth place, pretty good season. Fourth place, Liverpool. This has been a very hard season to actually predict where they're going to finish. They could do great second place or something, or even maybe win the title, or they could do terribly. I could definitely see them finishing like seventh or sixth, but I put it fourth. I just don't know where they're gonna finish. It's very hard. New manager and just no new faces. We've not really seen them much. No signings, no sales so far. It's confusing. I don't know where they're gonna finish. I definitely could see them falling out of the top four, being like fifth. I'm saying this right now. If I just saving my back, if my prediction backfires, but I could definitely see them finishing fifth or sixth outside the top four. But I put them fourth. I think their squad is quality enough. They've got so many good players. They should be good enough, but will they do it? Will Slot get the best out of the players and actually finish in the top four? We'll see. So not much to go off here, but I've put him fourth, and yeah, we'll see how it happens. I'm excited for this. Third place, Man United. Now, last season I did also put him third, which if their season goes anything like last year, it could be trouble for me. But I think it's just again the signings have really fooled me, and we'll see what happens. But they made some great business. Honestly, probably the best transfer window out of anyone. Yeah, it's just really great signings. So actually, I think we'll have a great season. He won't score as many goals as people think, but I think he'll just be a great player in their system, getting just a lot of involvement in their actual gameplay. And I think he'll be a very good signing that pays off. Same thing with Euro. I think he's going to be great. So, third place is a big improvement, but we'll see. This is another one I'm really worried about. Aaron Ten Hag will he prove me right at this time, I guess. But I honestly, I don't really believe him. I don't believe in him. But I think at the end of the day, their squad is good. And third place, it's a bit generous, but we'll see what happens. Second, Arsenal. Just couldn't put anyone else ahead of them. Liverpool with their new coach, as Arne Slot. I could not really predict them to finish second. That would be pretty insane. Same thing with Man United. Just predicting them to finish 5 places ahead of last season. Even more, I think. No, it's six. Just could not do it. And anyone else, like Aston Villa with Europe, could not do it. There was just no club I really could put in second besides Arsenal. And yeah, they've not made any really big signings, and not anyone. I don't think, and not really sold anyone either. So it's been a quiet transfer window, but I think they should still have the quality, still have the manager behind them to get him second. And another disappointing season, just falling short of Man City. And finally, first place, it is none other than Manchester City. Just couldn't have placed anyone here besides them, honestly. It's the only team that I could see really rivaling them this season is Arsenal. I don't think there's anyone else. Liverpool, if Arne Slot actually does well, we'll see. Maybe they finish first, we'll see, but no one else really. It's a one-horse race at this point, honestly. But they've been pretty quiet this transfer window. Savio from Girona, it's a bit of a scam for everyone else, but he's gonna do good. I think he'll be another Jeremy Doku on the right side. He's gonna be pretty good signing for them. Besides that, just a pretty standard season. Holland will be better than last season, I think. 30 goals, that's my prediction. But yeah, pretty boring. That is gonna do it for this prediction. This is a really long video. I've never made a prediction video this long, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, watched it all the way through. That would really help the channel. But yeah, that is gonna do it. Um, yeah, just a lot of talking, a lot of rambling. That is gonna do it. That's my prediction. Top scorer, Holland. Yeah, that is gonna do it.